My name is Cluanie Swanwick, like George Clooney. I am an actor from Australia. I have been performing since I was about 7 years old. I started singing, and you can go back through all the primary school entries of what do you want to be when you grow up, and every single one of them is saying that I don't want to have a 9-to-5 job. I want to do something that's creative or different, and I've always kind of naturally fallen into being an actor or an artist in that way. So I kind of, when I was choosing what I wanted to do with my life, I was like, there's nothing else I kind of can do. This is it. Being confident and assured in my being and my existence within the world. Drowning. The perfectionist in me, I feel like that a lot of the time I sometimes think that my best isn't good enough, and that I end up creating a final product that's more beyond and stretching myself too thin a little bit. And I think that comes from having that perfectionism in my brain of being I need to get this right. I hate when people aren't honest and truthful about themselves or how they feel. And it's something that I really look out and search for in people. And when I don't find it, I get pretty disappointed. Brandon Uranowitz, he's a Broadway actor. He's genuinely one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. And I think he's incredibly underrated. Probably give myself too much leeway with is probably the amount of time I spend on devices and social media and stuff. And I have timers set on everything now so that I don't waste 8-7 hours a day on TikTok. But it's really tempting to a lot of the time. Rest is just as productive as doing the work. I think that sometimes being super prepared for something can kind of bite you in the ass a little bit. I think sometimes letting it just come from you naturally and on the spot is more important than trying to nut out every single second of something. I think it's more truthful to work that way sometimes. I lie when I'm in pain and I don't want my friends to see the things that I'm dealing with emotionally. I have always struggled with body image since I was about 7 years old and how I view myself in a mirror, and it's definitely gotten a lot better, but there's still times where it feels a bit like I'm seeing a funhouse mirror kind of person staring back at me, and that comes in waves, comes in and out of my life, but that's just still the thing that kind of happens. I don't like to despise anyone, but I guess the men that have wronged me in my life. Honesty, truthfulness, and openness. Favorite thing about women is when we can all kind of come together and build a community and lift one another up. I think that's the best thing about being a woman specifically. I swear a lot. It's probably the Australian in me. There's a couple of phrases. I say slay way too much for anyone's vernacular. My roommate and I have this joke from an old video on YouTube where we just say, "Oh, Grace." It's someone playing basketball and the commentator just kept saying it over and over again, and it's funny to me. And I always, whenever someone coughs or sneezes, or mainly coughs, I say, "Chill." I'm "Stop it, please." That's kind of thing that happens in my life. I think the greatest love in my life is musical theatre and singing, but also my parents as well. I've never been happier in my life than I have since I moved here. I'd love to be a gymnast. That'd be so cool to be able to do that and throw my body around that way. That'd be so cool. I don't think I would change anything about myself. I'm really happy with who I am as a person, and I feel really comfortable in being myself. Moving here and putting myself first. Maybe a bee. I feel like pollinating flowers would be a really nice thing to do. Okay, well, besides here, I've wanted to live here since I was 12. But I think Scotland or Ireland would be a really cool place to live. Just it's beautiful over there, so. My mum's ashes, probably. For me, it would be having a desire and not trying to see if I could do it. I think that would probably be like I think having something and not even trying to do it is probably that, honestly. I feel biased to say acting because it is, but if I couldn't be an actor, I feel like maybe like a pastry chef or something. I feel like that would be cool. People, whenever they meet me, I feel like they comment on my hair a lot, or like my name is quite unique. But also I think I have a pretty distinguishable laugh, so I think that's probably more what I would assume. Honesty, loyalty, and respect. I love Tom Stoppard's work, Simon Stevens, Greta Gerwig, Wes Anderson. I grew up reading The Chronicles of Narnia, so I guess C.S. Lewis by default. And Stephen Sondheim, even though he's not like a novel writer, he's a composer, but I still count that. I want to say Al Woods from Legally Blonde. I grew up watching that movie, and my dad always thought it was really important to show me films with women or female characters who are really strong and independent and follow through with what they want to do. I don't know about identify per se, but I really admire Anne Frank and her writing specifically. Both of my dads. They're a comedy radio show host duo called Hamish and Andy. They're from Australia. And I've always considered them my heroes since I was about 7 years old. And I still do in retrospect. I have no idea why. I just really do look up to them both. I like the name Piper quite a lot. There's also a character in a musical that's like my favorite musical, and his name's Mendel, and that's like such a beautiful name in my brain now. I hate the feeling of so you've been at the beach all day and you're in like a car driving home and there's like sand still on your body and you have to try and get it off, but you have to wait till it kind of dries a little bit so you can kind of dust it off. I guess the friends that I've lost as I've grown up because of the way I've acted in past friendships. Peacefully, when I'm super old, having lived a really full life, doing everything that I really wanted to do in my life. My talent keeps me grounded and driven.